Hello, welcome to the Craig's Motel. My name's Conan. In today's video, we're going to look at the new plugin in the MPC Standalone, Flytape 2. The reason why I say it like that is because it's new for the MPC and VST3, etc., but it's actually based on an iOS app, so it's not strictly new, but it's new for the MPC, and that's what we're going to look at today. Let's jump in. So what I'm going to do is I will take you through the GUI, I will take you through how it sounds, and then I'll give you some opinions, some thoughts on the plugin. GUI, very clean, looks really nice, very simple, very straightforward. I would call this a performance-based plugin, although it can be used in production in the studio. But with performance-based plugins, you want it simple and you want it hands-on. And it's a multi-effects plugin, so you have multiple effects in there, and you can just choose them by hitting this button and it will activate that plugin. I'll go through that more in a second. Going through the GUI, you have a noise fader here which introduces hiss and noise, etc. These options here will change depending on which plugin you choose. Let's go back to speed. You have the tape cassette animation in the middle, which looks cool, is cool. However, I would argue that an animation like that could actually take up some processing power. So do we really need it? You have a bypass knob here. You have the hold knob here, which I'll explain in a second. And then you have a mix fader here, which speaks for itself. Just quickly go into the hold knob. As I said, if you hold down the button, it activates the effect. If you hit hold and turn hold on, it will stay on. So you can choose how you use it. We'll keep it off for the moment. So what we'll do now is we'll go through how it actually sounds. That's what you all want to hear. Got a drum beat in here. It's one of the drum beats that I use quite a lot. So you have multiple speed changes here. I'll run through them quickly. So you can choose which one you want to use and how you want to use them, but it's cool that you've got multiple choices there. I think what would have been nice is rather than have buttons is have some kind of dial or something where you could change the speed. That would be really, really useful actually, thinking about it. You could use that in multiple ways when you're playing live. So that's how the speed thing sounds. The noise thing will be introduced. Just by bringing that up, it just has a little bit of hiss and stuff. You notice that more in some of the things like saturation, which we will now move on to. Saturation, I'll turn the hold on. You have three options here, boost, amp and drive. Let's bring the noise up a little bit. And, oh yeah, I just want to point this out quickly. With things like speed, mute, reverse, break and stutter, you really want to make sure that mix is at 100%, unless you're being creative, but generally you want it to be at 100%, because if you have it halfway and you hit mute, for instance, you're still going to have the dry signal coming through. It's only going to mute the wet part of the signal. So just bear that in mind. Sometimes if you're playing around with the mix knob and you hit one of the effects and it sounds, you're like, that doesn't work, that doesn't sound right, just check with the mix. I'll show you in a second. But with saturation, is actually one of those plugins that you can use the mix knob to dial in how much saturation you want. These are pretty decent. I'm going to be honest. I quite like these. And out of the entire plugin, I'll give you a spoiler here. This is actually my favorite part of the plugin, the saturation on it. And I'll explain why in a second. So you have various degrees of overdrive, boost signal, pushing it into the red, etc. there. What I like about it is with a lot of saturation plugins, the way that they work, they introduce harmonics, but what they quite often do is they'll introduce some aliasing and they'll introduce some more high end, and sometimes that can be a little bit harsh. And then what you find yourself doing is using a filter to just roll off some of the highs. With cassette and tape plugins, what they should in effect do is roll off the highs, and it does actually do this here because this saturation plugin doesn't introduce aliasing or any kind of crunchy high to it at all. It does actually introduce a little bit of a roll off, so that's really, really handy, and I like that, and that's what a tape plugin should do. Mix is going to be good here because you can just use it subtly. For instance, actually, let's keep on the boost. And I find that with the drive, you can pretty much keep it mix at 100%. Maybe just dial back a little bit. But if that's supposed to be an emulation of driving a cassette or a reel-to-reel tape into the red, it's pretty decent. And I like the roll-off on it as well. And I like the fact that it introduces harmonics in such a way, but it doesn't introduce aliasing or any horrible high end that you then have to compensate with an EQ or a filter. So I'm probably spending more time on this one than I will on the other plugins, but it's because I like it. It's decent. It reminds me of Decapitator by Sound Toys, and a couple of other saturation plugins that I use. It's nice. In combination with the mix knob, you can get some really, really good sound with it, and some very, very natural sounding overdrive and saturation in the mix. So I like that. You know me, I like my mix plugins. So coming out of that, going into mute. Now with mute, you really want to make sure that it's at 100% because otherwise it kind of defies the point. And it's going to be good as a performance plugin. So I'm turning off the hold here. I don't use an MPC live, but I can see where that could be useful. I guess it's useful to have a mute knob in a plugin anyway, but you know, it's okay. It's another little multi-effect in there, but it's not, you know, it doesn't sell the plugin for me. Let me put it that way. Reverse does exactly what it says on the tin. Maybe it would have been nice to have a few more options with that, but you know, it's decent. It does what it's supposed to do. Warble, maybe this is not going to be the best source to demonstrate warble. Maybe something like some pianos or something with tone in it would have been better. But again, this one is a good emulation of what it's supposed to do. The warble is basically wow and flutter on a cassette or a reel-to-reel, which is fluctuations in speed. And that makes a fluctuation in pitch and things like that, because obviously the tape's running at different speeds. And this is a decent emulation of it. So you have various different degrees to choose from there. I'd say 1 is probably the one that you really hear the effect the most. And 7 seems to be fluctuating a little bit faster. But as a warble, a wow and flutter effect goes, as it goes, it's actually a pretty decent emulation of it. And that could be useful, especially if you're making lo-fi music and stuff. Moving on to lo-fi. Again, lo-fi is pretty decent. So you've got kind of all the way down to like 8-bit style, real gritty kind of lo-fi sounds there. 5 and 6 have got a little bit of a ring to them, so maybe they're trying to emulate maybe something like a S950 or an SP1200 or something with a 12-bit kind of sound to it. They're decent, you know, and again, you can use mix in there as well. Sounds like there's a little bit of compression on there, you know. If you listen to the snare, with number 5, there's a bit of whack, there's a bit of smack introduced to the snare drum, so there's a bit of compression going on there, definitely. Anyway, overall, lo-fi is pretty decent, and you can use the mix knob to blend in how much you want. Break. Now, break would be something that would probably be better to have hold switched off, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. You have various different speeds of the break here. For live performances, this would be really, really useful. But also, this is a nice effect to have in a production if you use it sparingly. Don't overdo it. But it's useful, definitely, to have in your MPC, especially for live performances. But it does exactly what it says on the tin, basically. So as you can see, 1 is the quick ew, and 4 is the erbazobadu. I used to do that as a party trick. My mum and dad used to make me do it. I was about 6 years old. So from a very, very early age, I was emulating sounds with my mouth. I got into like beatbox and stuff, bit of a tangent here. And I got into beatbox and stuff when I was about 10, 11 years old, really, really early on. But when people like Fat Boys and Dougie Fresh, people like that were around. Actually, maybe a little bit older than 11, maybe about 13, about 1984, 1985. But anyway, before that, even as a very, very young kid, 4 or 5 years old, my mum and dad would say, do the tape thing, do the tape thing. And I used to perform for them, and I would just speak a normal sentence, and I would say something like, hello, my name is Conan, and I'm going to do something for you. And I would do that from the age of about 4 or 5 years old. Anyway, total tangent. I still do it to my wife sometimes. We'll just be sat at the dinner table and I'll say, darling, can you pass the salt, please? And the pepper as well, possibly. Anyway, that's break. Can have lots of fun with that. Stutter. Stutter, you have options here. And again, this would be something that's useful for live performances, but you could also use this in productions as well. Now, one thing I do really like about this stutter, and I didn't notice it at first because I was just doing this flick thing, where I just flicking the effect. And I was thinking, oh, that sounds cool. But then I left my finger on it. I think actually I might have put hold on by mistake. And what it does is it's emulating what a tape delay does. Tape delay will gradually, the sound will you'll get a bit of a high roll off. It will, degrade. And they've emulated it quite nicely here. Let me show it on the 8th, actually is probably the best way. So listen to when I'll hit the effect in, and you'll gradually hear the highs roll off and the sound degrade. So I think that's kind of cool. I wish it did it more, and I wish you had control over it. But I think it's a nice little touch that they've added that kind of tape delay sound to it. So that's going through how it sounds. Now, there's a couple of things I want to point out which are decent in this, which I like. Firstly, although it is what I would consider a performance plugin, you can quite easily automate it. Let's just quickly go into the grid. And let's bring up automation. I've actually already got automation turned up here. And if we go into here and add new, you can see that if I go into Fly Tape 2, you have these various options here that you can choose to automate. So it's good that you can automate it, obviously. That's going to be useful in production. So I just wanted to point that out in case anybody asks, can you automate it? Yes, you can automate it. So there you have it. What are my opinions on the plugin? That's what you've all been waiting for. Okay, first things first, the price, $24.99. It's an introductory price. It's a decent price for the plugin. Overall, is it a good plugin? If you want me to sum it up, yeah, it's decent. It's a decent multi-effects plugin. There's lots of useful things on there. And if you don't have things like Airflavor Pro, etc., then it's useful. But this is what I want to get to. Firstly, $49.99 for the actual price. I think it's too expensive. And the reason why I think that is because all of the plugins, all of the effects rather, in this multi-effects plugin, they're already available in the MPC. Now, it gives you the convenience of putting it into one plugin as a multi-effects plugin, and that's useful for live performances, obviously. And I would say that is what this is geared towards. But it's just getting into that thing again, isn't it? Do we really need another lo-fi plugin for starters? And if we did need another lo-fi plugin, are people prepared to pay $49.99 for it, which is what the full price is going to be? And my opinion is no, I don't think they are. And that's not just me, actually that isn't just an opinion. That isn't just my subjective opinion. That is based on things that I have read and interactions that I've had with people on the forums in the last 24 hours. I released a video yesterday going on about where next for Akai. What were they going to be doing? Were they going to be concentrating on hardware? Were they going to be concentrating on software? And one of the main things that came up in the discussion that I had with people afterwards, when I released the video, in the discussions comments area in YouTube and on Facebook, was people were saying, well, yeah, hardware's nice, it's going to be great, but most of them were just pissed off that the issues hadn't been sorted out in the firmware for the standalone, and the software was still in beta and there hadn't been any updates. And people were pissed off with that. And the general consensus was, because when I released this video, it was starting to filter through that a new plugin had been made available for the MPC, not a new plugin, but it was made available for the MPC. That was new. The general consensus were people were like, well, I don't need another lo-fi plugin because I've already got loads. And can you stop releasing smokescreen plugins to try and hide the fact that we have an operating system firmware that doesn't work properly, and that there are multiple issues. There are things that were in the 2.15 firmware that you don't have in 3.0 that people use and people want to be able to use. And the MIDI issues, the time signatures thing, I hate to go on about it, but it is a major issue for some people. So the general consensus was thanks and that for the plugin and that, but we don't need another lo-fi plugin. And can you just please sort out the firmware and the software, please, rather than release another lo-fi plugin, which is already available mostly in the MPC. So, if I had to sum it up, is it a decent plugin? Yeah, it's a decent plugin. Do we really need it? No. And is the price decent? Well, I don't know. That's relative, isn't it? I mean, if you want another lo-fi plugin, then I guess $24.99 for the introductory price is okay, I suppose. So this is just another doom and gloom video, isn't it? It's just, there's Conan just moaning about things again, being pedantic, pointing out stuff that's wrong. Damn you, Conan. Why do you have to always point out the wrong stuff? Look, overall, Flytape 2 is a pretty fun plugin. I did have some fun with it, and I'm going to continue to have some fun with it. And it's useful in production, I guess, if you can't be bothered to find the other plugins in the MPC. So on that note, on that positive note, thank you for watching. This is the Quakes Motel. My name's Conan. Till next time.